My sister Lois and I did not speak for 26 years. Last spring, the phone rang, and it was her daughter telling me Lois was gone. And I stood there in my kitchen and could not, for the life of me, remember what we had stopped speaking over. 26 years of silence over a thing so small I had lost the shape of it. We never even had a proper fight. We had one bad afternoon at our mother's funeral, and then a quiet neither of us knew how to break. And it hardened into years, and then it hardened into forever. But stay with me to the end, because when I went to clear out her house, I found what my sister had been keeping all that time, and it broke me clean in half. It's me again, Faye, still 76, still here. If there's somebody you've gone quiet with, and you're both just waiting on the other to call first, sit with me, please don't wait like I did. Her daughter Brenda was gentle about it. A stroke, quick, in her sleep. I thought you'd want to know, Aunt Faye. Want to know. My only sister, the one who taught me to French braid and covered for me when I snuck out at 16. And I found out she'd left the world the same way I'd let her leave my life. Secondhand, over a telephone. And here is the thing that shames me most. After I hung up, I sat down at the table and I tried to reconstruct the crime. What had she done? What had I done? And I could not tell you. Something at Mama's funeral. Something about Mama's wedding ring. Who should have it said in the worst hour of both our lives. Words that would have meant nothing on any ordinary Tuesday. 26 years. And I could not even remember the sentence that cost me my sister. I'll tell you how these things happen, because it is never the way you'd think. There was no betrayal. Lois didn't run off with my husband or steal my inheritance. We were two grieving women in a funeral parlor, both of us raw as a skinned knee, and one of us said something sharp about our mother's ring, and the other said something sharper back, and we each drove home certain the other one owed the first apology. And then a week went by, and a month, and every day that passed made the phone heavier to pick up, because now there was the fight, and there was all the silence after it to answer for too. Pride is a snowball. It is nothing at the top of the hill and an avalanche at the bottom. I kept thinking she'd call. She kept thinking I'd call. We were, it turns out, exactly alike. We always had been. That was probably the whole trouble. My Ruby tried to tell me years in. I was doing her hair one afternoon, Ruby in my chair, the way she'd been every few weeks for 30 years, and she caught me going quiet at the mention of Lois, the way I did. She found my eyes in the mirror. How long's it been now? 14 years, I said, something like that. And Ruby said, Faye, honey, you and Lois never had a fight. A fight, somebody wins, somebody says sorry, it's over. You two had a silence, and a silence only lives as long as the both of you keep feeding it. One of you could starve it any day of the week. You just have to be the one who's willing to look a little foolish. I told her it was complicated. It was not complicated. I just would rather have been right than been the one to call. And I got my wish. God help me. I got my wish. Oh, here is what I know now, standing on the far side of it. There is being right, and there is having your sister, and I want you to hear me. They are almost never the same thing, and if you make yourself choose, being right is the coldest bargain you will ever strike, Because I was right about the ring, about the tone she took, about all of it, probably. And do you know what being right bought me? 26 Christmases with an empty chair I told everyone didn't bother me, a phone that never rang, and finally a call from a niece I barely knew telling me my sister was in the ground. That is the going rate on being right. I paid it in full over 26 years, in installments so small I hardly noticed the account draining. And then one spring the bill came due all at once, and it was everything. And now, I can hear some of you, because I said it to myself for a quarter of a century. You're saying, but Faye, she wronged you. You can't just let people treat you any old way. Keeping your distance is self-respect. Some bridges deserve to burn, and there is a grain of truth in it. There are people you must keep at arm's length, and I'd never tell you to crawl back to someone who does you real harm. But be honest with yourself about which one this is. Was my sister a danger to me? Or was she just a proud, hurting woman, exactly as proud and hurting as I was, on the worst day of her life? Self-respect is a fine thing, but I have learned that a great deal of what I called self-respect was just fear wearing its Sunday coat, fear of being the one who cared more. It is a poor trade. So I went to help Brenda clear the house. I owed the child that much. And in Lois's bedroom, in the top drawer of her bureau, there was a bundle tied with a faded ribbon. It was every card I had ever sent her. Birthday cards, Christmas cards, a valentine I'd made her when I was 9, kept in order, kept for 60 years. And they stopped. The ribbon just ended, the year of Mama's funeral, because that's the year I quit sending them. And on her nightstand, turned to face her pillow so it was the last thing she saw every night, was a photograph of the two of us as girls, maybe 7 and 10, arms around each other in front of the old house. She looked at my face every night for 26 years. She kept every scrap of me she had. My sister never stopped loving me for one single day. She just didn't know how to break the silence either. And I had told myself all that time that she didn't care. I sat on my dead sister's floor, and I cried like something coming apart. And then I did the only thing left to do. I could not call Lois, but I could call Brenda. My niece, a grown woman I'd let become a stranger for no reason but her mother's last name. I asked her to supper. I told her everything. I gave her that bundle of cards to keep, and I asked her to tell me about the 26 years of her mother I had thrown away. And there's one more. My own boy, Wayne, and I had gone cool these last few years. Nothing dramatic, just a drifting, just the beginning of another silence. I drove to his house that same week, and I sat in his kitchen, and I said the thing out loud before it could harden. I am not doing it twice. I refuse. So here is what I am asking of you, and I mean this week, while the phone still works both ways. There is a silence in your life. I know there is. A sister, a brother, a child, an old friend, someone you've gone quiet with, and you're each waiting on the other to go first. And you've both dressed it up as principle. Go and starve that silence. Be the one who looks foolish. Pick up the phone and say the plain, small thing. I've missed you. It's been too long. I don't even remember what happened. You do not have to win. You do not have to be right. You just have to be the one who isn't willing to bury this person still not speaking to them. because the phone is going to ring one day no matter what. The only question is which kind of call it'll be. I'm 76. I have a photograph on my own nightstand now, the one from Lois's, turned to face me every night so I never forget what a silence cost. Don't pay what I paid. Don't let a bad afternoon become 26 years become a phone call from someone else's child. The people we lose to death are taken from us. The people we lose to pride, we hand over ourselves a little at a time, telling ourselves the whole way down that we're the ones who were wronged. Down in the comments, I want you to tell me the name of the person you've gone quiet with. Just the name out loud where you can see it. And then close this and go feed something better than that silence. I'm Faye. Thank you for letting me talk. Go call that person.